Good evening, everyone. So it's 7 p.m. already. So thank you for joining us for tonight's session on communication skills. I'm Đinh Quang Đức, academic manager at Sam English House, and I've been working in the field of IELTS for 8 years. And I strongly believe that communication plays a vital role in determining whether learning happens effectively or not. That's why I believe this course is going to be very helpful for all of us as teachers. And I'm delighted to host today's sharing session with Dr. Ngô Thu Hà, a freelance and independent researcher, with a wide range of knowledge in academic studies. And Dr. Ha, can you have a few words with everyone before, I continue with introducing parts of the session?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure for us to have all of you in this webinar today. So I hope that everyone can raise your voice, can have your own point of view to share with us in the meeting, and we hope that it would go well today. So thank you. Can you please be the first one to start it?
All right, thank you. So the content we'll be covering tonight is adapted from a 12-hour course from British Council. So due to the time limit, we only have like 1.5 hours. So we have carefully selected the most important parts to share with you because we want to focus on parts that you can start using right away, the strategies that will benefit all of us. So let's make this an engaging evening. I look forward to hearing from you. So everyone, can you type in the chat box so we know that you can interact with us? So can you say something in the chat box, please? Good evening, Phương Hoa. Good evening. So please, people, can you chat in chat box so that we can check whether the voice is clear and everyone is hearing. All right, so now before we get to the main part, I want to start with a lead-in activity. It's a very simple one. So, the course we are trying to share is about communication skills. So when it comes to communication skills, what is your expectation? Everyone, can you leave your thoughts in the chat box? Again, what is your expectation? So maybe you can type 1, 2, 3 thoughts of you in the chat box. What do you think about communication skills? Hello, everyone. All right. So, uh, wow. Good evening, Hằng. How lucky am I to be here today? Thanks a lot, teachers. Yes. Uh, Flexibility of using body language. Phương Hoa, very good. Flexibility of using body language, very good. That's definitely a part in communication skill. Body language, eye contact, very good. That's also what I've learned from the course. Gestures, very good. Fluency, yes. Of course, when we talk, when we speak, we have to continue speaking with fluency, right? Natural, very good. Thank you. Very good. So I have seen a lot of, very accurate thoughts and expectations about communication skills. And now I want to dive deeper into into one section that, that the course really deals with. Now, let's move on to the next part, which is the table of contents. So in today's session, we have 5 parts to share. And the first one is dialogue versus debate. So actually, the focus is on dialogues. We want to have conversations that are, effective and, beneficial to both the speaker and the listener. So we want dialogue. However, we also need to distinguish it from debate because sometimes we really misunderstand what is a dialogue and what is a debate. All right. And number 2 is like a summary. After we have talked, through dialogue and debates, we can summarize it into 8 golden rules of a dialogue. Number 3, some barriers to communication. I call this part problems. And then, of course, if we have problems, we need solutions, right? In part 4, we have 2 solutions. for better communication. Very interesting. Let's wait to see. And number five, the last part, actually is only one part, but it's very large, it's very broad, and a lot of things to share. This part will be for Dr. Ha. So she will walk you through an attitude, a very important attitude to bear in mind when you carry on a conversation, which is assertiveness. Okay. Now, to get the ball rolling, let's start with the first part, dialogue versus debate. And in today's session, I want you to interact with us as much as possible. All right. And in this part, I have an activity for you. It's a very small activity. No big deal. No big deal, everyone. Okay. So now, what do you see on the screen? What do you see on the screen? Oh, I see a lot of comments, right? Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so now you see two images, actually two portraits on the screen. On the left, we have, the Vietnamese very famous Zen master, Thich Nhat Hanh, right? He's famous internationally, and I think this person really represent the characteristics of a dialogue, of an effective dialogue. And on the right, we have, the current American president, Donald Trump, very familiar to all of us on the TV, right? And I really think that he represents a debate. He is a master of debate. All right. So now I want to start from the left first. So so can you give me some opinions why I choose this person to represent a dialogue? Can you leave some comments? I will try to read every comment that you give in the chat box. Different attitude, very good. So that's basically the difference between these two. Now let's start with from the left to everyone. Just start from um monk Thich Nhat Hanh. Now, so what makes him a good person to carry a dialogue? Oh, okay, different goals. Okay, so people are noticing the difference between the two people, right? Different tone, different goals to communication. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Hằng. Thank you, Nhi Đỗ. All right. So, wow, a very long comment. So it takes a lot of effort. I need to read it. Okay, thank you, Phương Hoa. So dialogue, the purpose to share perspectives, understand others, and explore ideas collaboratively. Very good. Exactly. So this is why I choose a monk to represent this idea. So a monk is someone you would see. What he does is to listen more than he speak, and he trying to understand. Very good. And the tone is open. Very good. Respectful and curious. Exactly. What about a debate? So yes, we see Donald Trump, a very strong character, right? So yeah, he present arguments and persuade others to a particular point of view, and mostly his point of view, right? And sometimes we can see that he often, cut people short just for speak for himself. Okay, and the tone is competitive, often confrontational. Very good. Okay, thank you. Very good opinion. Okay, thank you. So now, um, I'm sorry, wrong click. So now, what I want to focus on here is that in a classroom, what we do regularly is, very small dialogues. We have dialogues, throughout the lesson. And even after the lesson, outside the class, sometimes we need to talk to students if they have some particular problems, right? We need to, facilitate them to study better. In order to do so, we need to understand them. We need to be open. We need to use the right language, and we need to know how to listen. Very good. Thank you. So that's the difference. We don't want to win. As teachers, we don't want to win. Or even in class, when two friends, two classmates talk to each other, and maybe both of them have two strong opinions. We don't force them to win. We want to, let's say, we want to facilitate them and try to find a common ground. That is a dialogue to understand, not to win. Okay, so we don't want to be too competitive. All right, so now let's go on with me on a journey. on which we will discover 8 golden rules of a dialogue. So this is a very interesting part of the course that I want to, I'm eagerly want to share it with you. So in order to do this, I want to invite all of you to a game called Catch the Word. Catch the word, which means I have an image. I have, 8 images. And for each one, I want you to fill in the blank with a word, with a missing word. Okay, are you ready, everyone? Are you ready? All right, so now let's get started. Okay, thank you, Neo Chen. Okay, now, so the first one, a picture with, a person with a lot of question marks. B, something, 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 everyone. So it has 7 letters, 7 letters. Be something, something. This is an adjective. This is an adjective, everyone. Patient. Close enough, close enough. Huy Trần, curious. Someone else, please. Ngọc Anh Vũ, curious. Anything else? Anything else? All right, let's count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Clarity, Mỹ Uyên. Nhi Đỗ, curious. Là Nguyễn Thị, respectful. Respectful have a little bit more letters than it is here. Okay, so very good, everyone. The answer is curious. Very good. So now, why curious? So curiosity is actually something very useful. I say useful because, when you're curious about something, your eyes get brighter and your, body language maybe, more dynamic. You lean forward that thing and you want to discover more. And let's try to do this with the person you're talking with. Okay. And especially if it is your student, you should use your body language. Maybe lean a little bit forward and trying to maybe show some facial expressions that trigger them to speak more. Thank you. So very good. Be curious. This is an attitude to bear in mind when we talk to people, especially new people. Okay, so that's the first rule. Next one. So we see a weighing scale. So which 2 sides? B. What is the answer, everyone? What is it? B. Still an adjective. Still an adjective. 5 letters. Now let's see.
Wow, là
Equal.
Thị
I see
Huyền.
the first
Là
response.
là Nguyễn Thị. So fast.
Yeah, very fast. Oanh dậu.
Okay.
Balance. So I see a different answer.
Cái
Nguyễn Văn
balance is
Hưng,
just a
balance.
noun.
Very good. We also see the balance here. Equal. Equal. So we see a recurring theme. Recurring answer. Very good. And of course, the answer is equal. All right. So now maybe you need to take some notes because the rule is very simple. The rule is a little bit short, but when we want to understand it, we need to take some notes. So when we talk about equal here, I want to what I mean is that we want to be equal in terms of the amount of time we speak and the amount of time we listen. Okay, so trying to be equal. If you are the first to speak, then after speak for a while, spend some time, an equal amount of time to listen. You just need to do this, non-verbally. You don't need to tell people that I'm listening. Now you say, now you talk. You don't need to do that. You just, do it, naturally. Okay, so trying to stop a little bit after you have talked for a while. Okay, so trying to be equal. Let people speak. Next one, we have the third rule. Very easy, right? So the picture is very clear. What is he trying to do? Something more than you speak. Of course, yes, it has to be listen, right? Listen more than you speak. So this one complements the rules, the previous rules that we have talked about, right? So we want to understand people and we want to be equal, right? So actually, we should try to focus on listen because actually, as human, we tend to talk more. As human, we tend to talk more, right? We may, not listen as much as we speak. So now this is something that we should bear in mind. Okay, listen more than you speak. And in the course, there is a very interesting fact that actually, when you listen more, when you listen more, you get more input. And then when you get a lot of input, your responses tend to be more accurate and reasonable. Okay, that's why we need to listen more than we speak. Next, now, now a picture of someone saying, "Oh, honestly, I lied to you. I never got into college." And then her friend, "You're not defined by academic degrees, mate." Okay, so her friend is listening without something something. Everyone. Oh, wow, we have, we really have a racer here là Nguyễn Thị, Trần Thị Mỹ Uyên judging, Oanh Dậu judgment. Very good. We see two judgments here. Anyone else? Anyone else? So it seems that the answer is very correct. So nobody want to add more, right? Okay, exactly. Listen without judgment. Very good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mỹ Uyên. Thank you, Oanh Dậu and La Nguyễn Thị. All right. So the keyword is listen without judgment. So this is especially important for having conversation with students or colleagues. So I want to tell you a very short story of my student. Now this is a real story. So I have a student who study with me in a tutor class, and in a tutor class I teach that student one-on-one. So there was a day when the student came to the class and she seemed to be very upset. She didn't study very well and listen very well. So I stopped there. I I stopped teaching, and then um, I asked her to share what she thought. And we've been knowing each other for a while. So when I asked her that question, she seems to be touched and she shared a lot. But on that day, she talked about her parents with a very strong attitude. She was very aggressive. She even called her mother an evil because the mother forced her to study a lot of things, like not just subjects at school, but also dancing, singing, and a lot of art related subjects. So I just listened for a very long time, maybe like 30 to 45 minutes without saying anything. And finally, I didn't say anything, so I try not to give any judgment. And then she told me a lot about her family, and that was when she can came back to study because she found that someone understood her. So that was when I accidentally would listen without judgment, and I found that it was pretty effective, and I think it could be pretty useful for all of you too. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Now, a woman saying, "This is my story." So she's focusing on something, something. So she's speaking for. This one is a little bit difficult. If it's too difficult, then I will give the first word. Sorry, the first letter. Okay, so for this one, I will say the first letter. The first letter is Y. The word start with Y. Okay. Wow, that's the correct answer, Neo Chen. Thank you. So speak for yourself. Exactly. So when you tell someone even embarrassing thing, you should be honest and speak yourself. Okay, that's it. When now let's go back to the student that I was telling you about. Actually, the reason why she told me a lot of things was because I also showed her that I was very vulnerable when I was a student too. So we have something in common. So she was, she was able to open up and share with me more. So speak for yourself, be honest, and open up first. Okay. Next, we have someone very upset because his friend jumped into his conversation. So don't do something. Don't something something. Everyone. Now, in the middle of a conversation, we don't want to. Now we have interrupt from Ngọc Anh Vũ. Another interrupt from Trà Nguyễn. Thank you. Phương interrupt. Anyone else? Now let's count to three. One, two, three. All right. Interrupt is the correct answer. Very good. So we want to, yes, we want to listen, and we also want to respect. We want people to finish. Okay. Don't cut in the middle. All right. Don't interrupt. And now, two people closing their eyes, and what they are doing, they are making time for something. So this is a very important idea that we need to remember in a conversation, in a healthy conversation. You can even apply this one to your spouse, your husband, your wife. Yes. Now the answer will be something that we all need to remember, make time for, and the answer the word starts with R. Everyone, start with R. I really want you to type the word, because if you get it, then you remember it longer. Then, I present it immediately. Respond. Yeah, respectful. It has to be, now, it is a noun. It is a noun. Close enough, everyone. Close enough. Let's try to get it. Relaxation. Very good. So very close. Very, very close. So now let's see the answer. Okay, so finally I see the answer. That's reflection. Thank you, Oanh Dậu. Now, so reflection is like a moment of silence. It doesn't have to be very long, just for a while. Okay. Sometimes a conversation, a healthy conversation, is not just about listening and speaking. Sometimes we can just sit down together and reflect. We should think about, so what do we learn? Sometimes we learn from a moment of silence rather than just, having to listen to something specific. Okay. So, in your family, maybe sometimes sit down for a while, listen to your husband and your wife. I do the same with my wife. We talk a lot, and afterwards, we always have like a few minutes of reflection. And also with my kids. All right. So, of course, in the class, we do this to the students, and they appreciate a lot. Okay. And the last one, this is the eighth one, the last one. So we see people from, different religions. So the rule is to respect people's belief and don't make something. This is very crucial, very important. Very good, everyone. Amazing interaction. So we see a lot of responses from people. So what about the last one? Comparison. That's good. But the answer is something a little bit deeper than comparison. It's not just comparison, a little bit negative, a little bit more negative. Now, let's give it a shot, everyone. And of course, as we go on, the quiz is get conscious evaluation. Okay, so actually the answer start with A. So it starts with A, everyone. Now let's try it again. Let's start with A. Very good. Thank you, Ngọc Anh Vũ. So you got it. Assumptions. And now I will add one S to your answer. Assumptions. We can have some assumptions. And when we talk to people, we don't want to, let's say, to look down on their beliefs, okay? Or we don't want to have some kind of uh, imagination, especially negative ones about themselves, about their appearance, about, their class, for example, okay? So that is something that we need to bear in mind, okay? And now, before this section ends and we move on to the next, I want to have a summary for all of you. Now, let's try to read it all over again. So we have 8 golden rules for communication. And the first one, be curious. So curiosity helps you a lot when you have a conversation with people. Now, try to use body language, of course, in order to trigger emotions. Number 2, be equal in the amount of time that we speak and we listen. Number 3, when we listen, we don't want judgment. 4, listen more than you speak because we want to have more input so that our responses will be more accurate and we will say the right thing. We don't, disrespect them accidentally, right? Number 5, speak for yourself. Sometimes you need to open up first, just like me when I did with my student, right? We open up first and then people will give it in return. Number 6, don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. 7, make time for reflection. Sometimes a little silence will be very, very beneficial. And 8, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. So it's very important. So I repeat it twice. Okay, so now let's move on to the next part. And in this part, I will show you a very, let's say, harmful, let's say, situation where some barriers to communication occur, okay, and it kills a dialogue. It kills this dialogue right in the first few seconds. It's not first few minutes, it's first few seconds, okay. And now let's see. So now I have a video on the screen, and now what we are going to do is to watch this video and then we try to answer this question. So, which rule of communication did the candidate violate? Because, this is an extract from a very famous show in Vietnam, Vietnam Next Top Model. And then, as soon as the model walks in, the examiner got into a very negative reaction. He was, extremely angry. And the candidate actually didn't understand why. Okay, so now let's watch. And about the question, the rule is one among the 8 that we have talked about. Okay, this is one among the 8 that we have talked about in the first part. Okay, so now let's watch. Xin mời thí sinh Hoài An. Oh, sorry, I need to share the sound. Sorry everyone, let's do it again.
Xin mời thí sinh Hoài An. Xin chào em.
Chào. Chị chào em. Không chào lại luôn. Em chào ban giám khảo.
Ban giám khảo chào em. Đảo mắt như vậy là sao? Thái độ gì?
Tại vì em cũng hơi thắc mắc là em có chào lại tại sao cứ bắt em phải.
Em đang ở trong phần gì? Phần thi này là phần thi gì? Chúng ta đang ở đâu?
Ủa mình có đang đi thi không vậy em?
Khi em bước vào đây, mọi người còn chào trước em cơ. Vậy thì chúng ta có xứng đáng để được nhận cái đảo mắt, cái bĩu môi và cái thở dài của em không?
Có thể là do em khá là căng thẳng cho nên
em đừng bao biện là em căng thẳng. Kể cả em có căng thẳng đến đâu, khi mà em ngồi trước mặt một người lớn, em cũng không thể làm cái thái độ như vậy được.
Có lẽ là do đó là góc nhìn của anh thôi chứ thực sự là
góc nhìn của tôi đúng không? Xin phép nhé. Em có hứng thú phỏng vấn nốt đi.
All right, was that clear everyone? Was that clear everyone? Have you got everything in the video? Can you give me an answer in the chat box, everyone, so that I know that you're hearing me well? Okay. We'd like to hear from you all. So this is a panel of discussion. I want to have some discussion here. So now let's start with the answer first. So which rule did the candidate violate? She accidentally give, the examiner something She gave the examiner something by chance. So the conversation died, at the first few seconds. After maybe like 5 seconds, as she steps into the stage, and then, the examiner got angry immediately. Why was that? So I got some, dash in, oh, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Very good. Thank you, Ngọc Anh. So why do you think this is the rule number 5, speak for yourself? Can you give me an explanation? Maybe can you turn on the mic and talk to all of us? Can you?
Hi, everyone. I think that the candidate didn't proactively speak for herself first. So the examiner or interviewers may think that she doesn't want to get involved or she want to show up some of the attitude toward them. So I think that they will have some kind of judgment to them, to her. So I think first of all, she needs to proactively speak for herself.
Wow, very good. So very interesting. Chị Hà, what do you think? Give some comment about that.
You're asking me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I
So
think
what do
that
you think about what Ngọc Anh said?
yes, I completely agree. Yes, because she didn't have time to speak for herself, and the judge, maybe he like at first he doesn't like her attitude. I mean, maybe he like that's the way he reacts, and I
Mm.
completely agree with the way that Ngọc Anh Vũ just expressed.
Yeah,
Yes.
very interesting. So actually, my answer is a little bit different. A little bit different. Actually, I totally agree with Ngọc Anh. Because yeah, I agree that she didn't have any time to speak for herself. She was, cut off constantly by the judge, right? So my viewpoint is a little bit different, and it's very interesting from you guys. Okay, so someone else, can you give me an answer? What do you think? Which rule of communication did the candidate violate? There's no right or wrong. This is just something that this is an activity
Yes,
for us to speak up.
there's no right and wrong answer here. It's just the way you think. That's your like point of view. So we'd like
All
to
right.
hear from you all.
So can I get something from you? The familiar name, về Phương Hoa, please. Mỹ Yến, sorry. You can turn on the mic to speak. I really want to hear your voice.
I think that
All
you can
right.
call our colleague at random. Any
All right.
teachers at
So
random.
maybe I want to ask some of you to turn on the mic. Okay. So can you please, Phạm Phương Hoa? Phương Hoa, can you? Do you think? All right. So it's okay, right? So actually, this is a real situation, a real life situation, and I really want to bring it up so that everyone can see, the rule, how the rule represents in real life, and actually how I felt. I can't. I have a lesson. All right, all right, okay, all right. So my answer is a little bit different, but it's okay. It's not the
Yes,
only correct
I'm sorry. I'm
answer.
sorry to chime in. I'm sorry to chime in. I think that Miss La Nguyễn Thị, I think that she can share some ideas. Oh, I'm
Yes, of
sorry.
course. Yes, of course. Can you?
Did you hear me? Did you hear me?
Do
Yeah,
you
Miss
hear us? Do you
La
hear
Nguyễn Thị,
us?
because I saw that she like correct all of your she's a
Yeah,
good
very.
excellent guesser, so I think that she
Yeah,
can
of
share some
course.
ideas about this.
You actually know a lot before even study the course. We have to spend like 12 hours, and you guess, maybe you guess 8 out of 10 correct answers. Very good. So can you?
Miss La Nguyễn Thị, do you want to share with us something about
Are you here?
the the video, these short videos? Okay,
All
yeah.
right, so maybe
just
we talk first. Maybe we will have some time for discussion at the end of the session. It's okay. It's okay. So my viewpoint, from my point of view, this is some kind of assumption, how assumption kills a dialogue. Because, the judge really have a lot of assumptions with the girl, with the candidate, right? Because, she looked to somewhere else. She sighs when seeing, the judges, and she even looked down to her feet, right? So all of the things that the judge hated. So that his assumption, because he said that you don't do that with someone older than you. That's his assumption, right? And even when she tried to explain that that's her natural behavior, natural responses, then he didn't believe it. And he even tried to, get away from the room. Okay? So that's how assumptions kills a dialogue. And that's why we should not, have this kind of impression and imagination about someone else. Okay? And if we get to
Nhớ nha.
the last part of the
Thì
video, now you'll see that after a while, the video is kind of long, so I cut it short and just keep to the final part, where to see when assumptions go away and the two talk to each other in a very friendly atmosphere. Okay, so here it is. Oh, sorry, something wrong. Sorry, just wait a bit. Sorry, everyone. I need to fix. All right. Okay.
It's okay.
Now let's go back. Let's go back. Oh, what's wrong? All right, so let's go back. Sorry, everyone.
It's okay. Maybe I think that it's because of the connection.
All right, internet went wrong for a while. Now I'm back. Okay, so now.
Xin mời thí sinh Hoài An. Từ tụi con thì á, con phải kiểm soát được cái hành động, bởi vì nhiều khi á, những cái mà nó vô ý vô tình từ tụi con nó sẽ làm cho người khác cảm thấy nó không được tôn trọng, họ không được lắng nghe. Những cái hành động mà nó sẽ làm cho người ta rất ghét đó. Và nếu như con mà không biết cách sửa đổi á, thì con sẽ uổng phí rất là nhiều thứ, và đặc biệt là với những cái đam mê và những cái mà con đã phải vượt qua hàng ngày. Nhớ nhá.
Và chị nghĩ là nếu mà em lắng nghe những cái lời nhận xét và em sửa đổi á, thì sau này em sẽ tiến gần hơn với cái sự thành công, và lúc đó thì mẹ em sẽ dần chấp nhận và cho em tiếp tục đi theo cái đam mê này của em.
Alright, so that's the final part. So we don't want to make assumptions with people, and we don't try to give the wrong impressions. Okay, that's what we can learn. And now, a summary for you is a few more barriers that I don't have time to talk about, but it's also very important to remember. So the first one is, of course, assumptions and prejudice. Number two, external distractions. This is what I'm trying to say is that we don't want to talk to someone who constantly look at his phone, checking messages, or even texting with someone when we are talking. Okay, we don't want to do that. Number three, wandering attention. It's like, not focusing on listening. So when someone is speaking, we still think about, our lunch or dinner and something else. Okay, focus on the story. Number four, lack of shared knowledge. This one is important because, when we talk to someone, especially in difficult topics, we want to have some sort of common ground. We want to know that the other person know the language that we are using. Okay. So in teaching, we call this scaffolding, right? Okay. We want to build it up. Okay. So we understand each other's language and now we talk. Okay. And number five, improper body language. So in the previous part, we talked about how important body language can enhances a conversation. However, improper body language could backfire. For example, if we lean forward but we lean too much, right? It's like we jump into the person in front of us is maybe become impolite. And number six, emotional reaction. So this happens when someone touch upon sensitive topics, and let's try to calm down and try to listen to them more, so that we understand that they may not have bad intentions. It's just like we need to listen a little bit more. Okay, so don't try to react too soon. Okay, so here are six barriers that we need to avoid. And then the solutions. So this one is very interesting. I want to tell you about. So this one is something that I took a very long notes on my notebook when I studied this part. So I presented it back to you in the form of a chart. So now let's go with me on this chart. Okay, let's go through this chart with me. So now before we start, I want to share with you a fun fact that I learned from the course. Now, so speech averages 125 or 175 words per minute, which means that we often speak at this speed. We produce 125 or 175 words per minute. However, the brain can process more. The brain can process 400 to 800 words per minute, which means that the brain often neglect what people are saying because it can understand more. So this is why we have wandering attention. Okay, so in order to fix it, then let's try to look at this chart. So in this chart, there's two parts. On the left, we have something that I call nice try. Yeah, you're trying to do something good, but you are not very aware of that. On the right is well done. You're doing the right thing. Okay. Now, so it can be broken down into some level of listening. This is a listening spectrum, which means that it describes how effective we listen to something. So on the first level, it's just hearing words. Have you ever tried this before? Have you ever experienced this? Of course, yes. We often just hearing words when we listen to music, when we do household chores, while we're cooking, while we're cleaning the floor, mopping the floor, we listen to music or podcasts. We often just hearing words. We don't care about it too much, just like, we know that something is happening around us. That's it. So this is the lowest level. We don't want to apply this to students, with colleagues, or even with your family members. So we cannot understand anything by doing that. Number two, thinking about me. This happens a lot in my family. I watched this a lot as I grow up. So my parents often, when we sit down for lunch, dinner, my parents often talk about two different stories at the same time. Always like that. So my mom's talking about what she bought at the market, and my father talked about some very, let's say, cheap microphone that he bought this morning. So it's very different story. My father didn't try to continue the story that my mother was telling, and my mother did the same. So they are talking about two different things, two different topics. So it made no sense. However, we often do this because our nature is to focus on ourselves. So when someone comes to us and tell us something, some story they want to share, we just listen for a while and then we try to redirect the story back to us. We want to talk about us more than that person. Okay. And then level 3, a little bit better. Now, I listen to you to give my solution. My solution. What do I mean? When you talk to someone and you have good intention, you want to give them some advice. That's good. However, the advice is best when it is, tailored to the needs of the person asking you. You don't try to give your solution just to satisfy yourself. Okay? We want to listen enough in order to say the right thing, to give the right solution. Okay, so number 3, yeah, a little bit better, but you need to even try better. You need more skills. Don't just listen and once again satisfy your ego. Okay, we want something else. Now, this is the well done part, level 4 and level 5. Now, if you want to solve the problem, some kind of mental problems that your students are having, then you should try to reach level 4, which is active listening and trying to understand more. Now, let's try to take some notes at this part. If you want to have active listening, then you should ask the right question. Okay, you should avoid wandering attention. Okay, and if you try to understand more, this is important. You should sometimes summarize his or her points to show that, hey, I'm listening. I'm summarizing your point. Do you mean this way? Am I understanding correctly? Yes, just doing that, summarizing people's point so that you can understand more, not just your own understanding, but they have space to explain, to interpret what they really mean. Okay, so level 4 is very good. Okay, very good if you reach this level. However, it will be best when we get to number 5, level 5, empathic listening and understand how people feel. This is where you remove yourself to the conversation. Okay, this is like something that we often see monks do very good. So they always, control the atmosphere. They always, ask the right question. They always give the right attitude, and they give the speakers a lot of time to speak. Okay, they just focus on asking the right question and giving the right attitude. Of course, they also summarize people's point. Okay, if you can do that, everything together, if you put everything together, you can get to number 5. Okay, and that's what we need to do. If some students have, maybe injuries in their mind and they need to be healed, and we need to practice communicating at level 4 and level 5, trying to use this kind of active listening in order to get deeper into the person's mind. Okay, so if you have any comments about this part, maybe you can put it in the chat box or save it later when we get to the discussion part. Okay, now the second solution is where I want some contribution from you guys. Okay, so I was talking a lot about asking the right questions, right? So in the course, I have learned that the wrong question in the conversations are often closed questions. So when we give closed questions, we actually trying to give some particular direction to the answer. Okay, we don't want that. That's close-ended. And now I want you to join me in an activity where we change the closed questions that I show you on the screen to open questions. All right, now let's get started. Okay, so the first one, and I also always give you a hint in the red words, the words in red. Okay, this is where we need to change. Okay, can someone help me to change this question into an open question? So you don't drink alcohol. Why is that? This is where we get a lot in Vietnam, right? In Vietnam, we often get this kind of question. All right. So how can we change it into an open question? Now we want to hear people's opinion, not just, trying to ask them about just yes or no. Can someone
Yeah,
help me?
when we talk about closed questions, it refer to the yes or no, right, Mr. Đức? And when
Yes,
open, it means like, yeah, like prolong a conversation.
very exactly. So I
No,
have
let
seen
me check the chat. Mm.
one new comment. What are your reasons why for not drinking alcohol? Very good. Very good. So actually, there are a lot of possible answers. So you can give me more. Okay. Thank you, Ngọc Anh Vũ. Very good. I really want to hear from teachers. This is a very, a golden opportunity to meet each others. So yeah, really want to hear from you guys. Why do you choose not to drink alcohol? Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it's
So the
important.
language is a little bit different, but the purpose is the same with Ngọc Anh Vũ. Anyone else? All right, so that's a very good start. So that's the right answer. Actually, we don't need to say the exact sentence like this. Okay, you can use why, you can use how. It's okay. So my answer, actually, it's not my answer. It's the course answer key. Is how do you feel about drinking alcohol? That's it. Okay, much more open. It's
Mm.
there's no boundaries. There no like fixed mindset here. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. We should do something about pollution, shouldn't we? All right, something went wrong here. Can someone help me to fix it? Change it into an open question. We should do something about pollution, shouldn't we? What's wrong about that? Everyone, can you say something? Here you are. What can we do to address pollution? Wow, amazing. So actually, maybe we know that that's the right answer, but we should write our own thoughts because we use the different language, right? Of course, that's an open question. Very good. Okay, so now let's see what we have here. What do you think we could do about the problem of solution? So that you can see the tone is, getting softer. So it's not like something like a mocking question like the first one. Now it's softer. It's like showing respect. Like, I want to know, I want to hear you voicing your opinion. That's it. And the last one, I only have three. Very quick. The last one. How can you know the difference between right and wrong if you have no religion? Okay, this one is extreme. This one is extreme. It can lead to conflict or even fight in real life. You ask questions on the left, right? Now let's see. The last one is very extreme, everyone. Now let's try to deal with this one. How can you know the difference between right and wrong if you have no religion? Okay, this one seems a little bit difficult. All right, so let's see the answer. Okay. Now, can you explain how you decide what's right and wrong? Okay, so instead of stating that, hey, you have no rights to talk here, like in the first question, it's like a hidden statement. It's like a hidden statement, and it's very negative. It's very aggressive, right? We don't want to do that. We want to have something open, okay? And when you look to the right, okay, now I can summarize some points for you to remember. So closed questions are actually those often start with yes no question, like do you think, should we, Actually, it sounds a little bit normal, but for the most part, it will becomes a closed question because you give only the chance of saying yes or no. The responses can be either way. Okay, so it's very closed. Okay, and second one, we don't want tag questions because tag question is like an invitation to do something. We want people to do that, so we use tag question, right? So that also makes the question very close and very specific to a direction. Okay. And finally, we don't want to have close context. We all don't want close context. We don't want to close it into a specific way to answer. And in like in the third question, if you have no relation, it's very aggressive. Okay. Now if we look to the right, we can see that we should use a WH question word to open the questions. Okay. And of course, you can use yes, no question, but in this way, can you explain? Okay, this is like inviting people to explain more. And I'm respecting your viewpoint, I'm respecting your beliefs, and I want to hear more from you guys. Okay, that's it. So this is the way, this is how we. Oh, I see some responses. What guides your understanding of right and wrong without religion? Hmm. Okay, that's a very good answer. Interesting. Um, and so that is the second solution. We should practice asking the right questions. And from today, let's start with WH question word, no tag question, try to avoid yes, no questions, and use more phrases like, can you explain? Can I hear more from you? That's it. Okay. So this is the end of my part, and now I want to give the spotlight to Dr. Hango, and now she will introduce you to assertiveness, the final part in today's sharing sessions. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Duke, for sharing. So before we move on to next part, I would like to take a picture of all of you because
Can you
later
take
this
a
is the time.
picture? Can you turn on the
Yes,
camera
yes,
so that we can have a
because this
record?
is nearly the end of the webinar. So I want to make sure that you are all in the picture. So later on, that we can report to VietTESOL.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I can
think that
see
there are
a lot of
48
people are.
participants in here, so you can take many pictures that you want. Okay, Đức?
Yes.
Yes. So everyone, can you please turn
Please
on
turn on the camera.
the camera? Hi, Ngọc Anh Vũ. Yes. Hello everyone.
Mọi người giúp mình và chị Hà bật cam ấy ạ, để chúng ta có thể có một kiểu ảnh nhẹ nhàng thôi để chúng ta có thể lưu lại cho buổi ngày hôm nay.
Là chúng mình đã tham gia ạ.
Cảm ơn mọi người, mình đã thấy là cam được bật lên rất là nhiều rồi ạ.
Các thầy cô có thể bật video lên ạ, để bởi vì là thầy Đức sẽ chụp nhiều ảnh, bởi vì đây có tận là 47-48 người tham gia,
Vâng,
nên là cũng
chúng
muốn
ta có rất là đông người nên
hình
là
ảnh của tất cả các thầy
mình cũng
cô ạ.
xin phép là chụp vài tấm để có đủ hết tất cả mọi người ạ. Ok, ok, cảm ơn mọi người đang bắt đầu hiện đủ hơn rồi. Thank you everyone. Chúng ta bật thêm cam mọi người ơi. Cũng là một cái buổi được gặp gỡ rất là đông thành viên của TESOL,
Lưu lại
và
được hình ảnh
có
của
khi
mọi
chúng
người
ta
ạ.
cũng chưa biết mặt nhau, cho nên là hy vọng là chúng ta cũng có thể là hôm nay thì mình và chị Hà có vinh dự làm host, thì lần sau sẽ là được tham dự của mọi người.
Chắc chắn thế ạ. Lần sau là có khi lại được tham gia cái chương trình của mọi người ạ.
Mọi Mọi người cho chúng mình xin một kiểu ảnh để lấy tinh thần nhá. Rất là mong được có kiểu ảnh mà nó trọn vẹn với mọi người nên là đang chờ hơi lâu một tí.
Có thể mình chờ thêm mấy giây nữa nhỉ, thầy Đức nhỉ?
Vâng, mình chờ thêm thôi 1 phút nữa đi ạ. Rồi có thể chúng ta làm một cái kiểu pose nhẹ nhàng thôi để có một cái ảnh kỷ niệm.
Khi nào thầy Đức chụp thầy Đức phải báo nhá.
Vâng vâng.
Phải làm mặt tươi nhất nhá.
Ok. Em đang set một cái. Đang có người vào thêm. Anh Thủy, hôm nay có anh Thủy. Em đã nhìn thấy anh. Mọi người chờ một xíu, mình đang chọn một cái làm nào để ấy nhỉ?
Chụp nhiều pose được mà Đức. Đấy nhanh để có anh Thủy kia, anh đã thấy thầy Thủy thầy có cả con gái của thầy ấy, ngồi chụp cùng luôn.
Trên này vẫn
Cô
nhầm.
giáo tí hon.
Ok ạ, mọi người ơi, cho chị em mình xin một cái kiểu ảnh, mọi người chỉ cần giơ tay thế này thôi cho đơn giản nhé. Rất cảm ơn mọi người. Nào, one, two, three, cheese. Ok, rồi. Xin phép mọi người 1 phút để có thể screenshot lại cái ảnh trước khi mình quay trở lại. Đâu rồi nhỉ? Ok ạ. Thế thì xin phép mọi người là bây giờ chúng ta trở lại một chút về cái phần cuối cùng của cái buổi sharing ngày hôm nay, thì mình cũng xin nhường lời cho chị Hà. Thì chị Hà sẽ chia sẻ phần này rất là interactive và cũng rất là mong có được cái sự tương tác của mọi người. Em xin mời chị Hà.
Vâng, cảm ơn thầy Đức.
Chị Hà
Thank
xem lại
you.
slide đi ạ.
À, thầy Đức cứ để tạm thờ phần của thầy cũng được, bởi vì chị đang muốn
Em share
muốn
màn
mọi
hình đúng không
người
chị?
tương tác với thầy một chút. Share phần của thầy cũng được. Hay
Đây
là
ạ.
chị share? Ok, để chị share cũng được không thầy?
Vâng, thế thì chị share được.
Okay, so it's now my turn. Thank you, Mr. Duke, for sharing your part. And we all know that Mr. Duke just talked about how to make an effective dialogue. And as you can remember that there are 8 golden rules, like be curious, be equal, don't interrupt, or no assumptions. And then he moved on to avoid barriers. So maybe some of you can remember like assumption or prejudice or accidental distraction. And then he talked about how to like convert an open like question into closed question into an open questions. So I think that many of you, or like me, before I start the course, I didn't think that dialogue is so important. And I can't think of, communication skills, just focus on dialogue. But there are so many things to learn in here. And before I move on to the assertiveness, I would like to hear from you how you deal this in your classroom with the golden rules, with the avoiding barriers, or how to convert closed questions to an open questions. So how you, the teachers, deal this in your own classrooms, or have you ever met these situations? So I would like to hear from you. So then after that, I would move on to assertiveness. So everyone, would you like to share with us for this one? I would like to hear from you about the golden rules. the barriers. So teachers, I do want to hear from you. So have you ever applied these golden rules into your classroom, or have you ever met the barriers or make the barriers into like your classrooms? So can I hear from you, teacher Thủy? Can you please share with us? How did you do in your classroom? How do you like prolong a conversation, or how you deal with these rules in your classroom?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Actually, I have to take care of my daughter, so
I think it's okay because here we come here just to
uh,
share. I think it's okay.
all right. So normally in my classes, actually, I think that we as teachers, we all have this kind of problems when actually we certainly we have the age difference a
Mm.
lot with our students. So normally our students are very very young, so they're Gen Z, so they have very different kind of style of communication and how they interact, how they answer, or at least when they come into the class, maybe they no longer say hello to you anymore. Uh,
Yes,
Actually, in the
sure.
past, when I was a student,
Mhm.
when I came to the class, of course, even when I came early or I came late, I always have to say hello to my teacher. But
Mhm.
it is no longer the standards nowadays. So if we still stick to those standards in the past, so maybe it's a little bit difficult for us to how can we say we mingle with the students. Maybe that will be the barriers for communication at the very first moments when they come to the class. So I think the golden rules number 8 is very, very important because we should not make any assumption. Maybe they do not say hello to you not because they do not respect you. That's the different story. It's just the different style of communication. And even when you give them the chance, maybe they will show you a lot of respect and in many other occasions. So I think that the here I also have another rule in my class. So it's to respect the differences. And I also teach the student this very like explicitly because it is for me it is very important rules in communications, and also it is also the way that we can how can we say we can remove the barriers between the generations. Yeah.
That's excellent. Thank you. Because I think that lots of the teachers here also have the same situation, also who have the similar situations, and how you deal with your learners. I'm sure that they can share with you a lots of ideas, or they can raise their voice, or they can speak for themselves. Yes, I agree with you. And I would like to hear from other teachers like Nhung Hoàng. I don't know that you are a female or male teachers. Can you please show us your face, or turn on the videos and share with us about your situations, or what have you done to like improve the communication skills in your classroom? So if the teachers is not willing to share, so I'll move on to another teachers, because I think that when we come here, we have a lot of like we bring with us in this webinar a lot of like experiences, and it's also like challenges that we have. So when we come here, we share and we can learn from each other, right? So how about I remember that the teachers with the name she like a good guesser, but I can't find. Okay, Neo Chen, teacher Neo Chen, can you please share with us? We'd like to hear from you. Can you hear me? And Phạm Phương Hoa. Teacher Phạm Phương Hoa, do you want to share with us something about your teaching or when it comes to communication skills? What are my... Okay. Sorry. Yes, assertiveness. When I studied this course, I didn't think about assertiveness, and I didn't think that assertiveness is such important element in a dialogue or in an effective communication. So for teachers like you, when you read this word, what comes in your mind? Assertiveness. So can you share with me some ideas when you see this word? Assertiveness in your teaching communication skills. What do you think? Why? Why assertiveness? Can you share with me? I think that we should have a few seconds for you to share with me about your ideas toward this word. What comes into your mind? Yeah. Assertiveness, being straightforward. Yes. Yeah, when assertiveness, because sometimes when we write an essay or write research, we use the word assert a lot. And I think that assert is kind of like we affirm something or we believe in something. So how about you? The word assertiveness. I think the teachers, it seems, are so hungry, right? You would want to share with us your thoughts. Okay, so let's get back to wind up to get to the point. Yeah, that's your idea. That's your point of view, right? Assertiveness. Okay, let's get back to the screen. Assertiveness. So before I want to move on to assertiveness, I would like you to read this one and share with me about this statement by the scholar Edith Eva Eger. She said that to be passive is to let others decide for you. To be aggressive is to decide for others. To be assertive is to decide for yourself. What do you think? What is your opinion toward this statement? Everyone, would you like to share with me? Assertiveness. Because when I look into the dictionary, the assertiveness here means that the ability of being confident and you don't feel frightened when you speak out what you believe. So what do you think? Why we have this word in this?
So my first thought when I read these three statements is that I think assertiveness is something that we often mistaken with passive and aggressive. We cannot decide. So the author has to write the three words next to each other so we can be more aware of it.
Yes, that's right. To be passive, like it is bold up here, passive, and someone let others decide for you. Aggressive is to decide for others, and assertive. So maybe she wants to affirm this word because she believes that the word assertive here, it means that you keep the balance. You're not passive. You're not aggressive. It means that you are equal in a dialogue. You might be curious. You want to listen, but you are not passive and you're not aggressive. So let's move on to this part. I would like you to join me in an assertive questionnaire. This is not for judgment. This is just a way of doing reflection. So after you answer all these questions, you can check like which style you are, passive, assertive, or aggressive. So are you ready for this question, everyone? Can you please show me like a thumb up or like a kind of a signal or a sign that I know that you are ready? Are you ready? Okay, so I think that you should have a note or should have a note with you, a pencil or a pen with you, so that you can like remember like how many answer, A answer or B or C answer. That so later on you can count the numbers and decide which style you are. Okay, let's move on, right? The first question is, so remember, I've got a note here. Be true to yourself. There's no wrong or right answer. Just choose the answer that best fits yourself, your belief. So the first question is, you are at a cafe and order a cola with ice because it is so hot outside, but the waiter forgets about the ice. What do you do? A, you are thirsty and you just drink it and don't say anything. And B, tell the waiter you wanted ice and ask politely if he could bring some. And C, send the drink back and tell the waiter to bring you a fresh one with ice immediately. Okay, a few seconds for you to choose the answer. Let's move on to the next one. Number 2, you have to do a project at school with a group of learners. You have a really good idea for the project, but you are late to the first meeting when you arrive, and they have already chosen an idea. What do you do? A, stay quiet and do the idea they have chosen. Or B, apologize for being late and ask if they would be interested in hearing your suggestion. And C, get annoyed and ask them why they chose an idea without you. Okay, let's move on to the next one because we don't have much time. So I want to like run a little bit faster. Number 3, one of your friends has come to visit you, but you need to study for an English exam for tomorrow. So your grade is very important. And what do you do? A, B, or C? Wow, I can see that the answer is here. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your answer. And I thought that you were doing like you were note taking. I'm sorry. I thought that you are taking notes. Wow, B. A lot of B's. Yeah, it seems that a lot of B's. That mutual, right? Oh, I'm sorry. What's happened? Maybe it's wrong here. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Number 4. I would let you read the question and do the answer. Okay, see that Phạm Phương Hoài depends on my mood. Wow. B. It seems a lot of B. Okay, let's move on to the next one. You bought some expensive new trainers, but after a week, you notice some of the material is splitting. What do you do? I think that many of you may have the same situation. It's just a matter of how you deal with it. Okay, B, go back to the shop and ask the assistant to exchange his shoes. Oh, Mr. Duke. Ah, the teacher Duke always go with don't do anything. Okay. Okay. You go with A? Oh, yeah, sometimes I do the same. Yes. After doing when I started the course and after doing the this questionnaire, I found out that yeah, I need to improve my like assertive skills a lot. Yeah, I should be more assertive. Already awake. Okay, let's move on to next one. Question 6. You have arranged to go on a trip with a friend. You arrive at the train station to get the train, but there is no sign of your friend when the train arrives. What do you do? Get on a train and go alone? A, B, or C, everyone? There are not many responses in the box chat, in the chat box. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Question 7. You're watching a really good film. Oh, C, Thủy Ngô. Okay, let's get back to this one. C, you get angry with your friend and call them and complain about their behavior. Yeah, sometimes I do the same. Thủy, teacher Thủy. Yes, sometimes I do the same. For the question 7, have you got your own answer? I think that this is like maybe many of you have your children at the teenagers. They are at like actually note down my answer in my notebook until now we got. Oh, you got a lot of B's. Yeah, let's go to the end and check it. After 2 more questions. Question 8. For question 8. Have you got your own answer, everyone? Okay, let's move on to question 9. You're walking home and a tourist stops you to ask for direction to a shop, but you don't know where it is. What do you do? Okay, let's move on to the last one. You are walking in the park when a cyclist almost hits you. The cyclist stops just ahead of you but say nothing. What do you do? Say nothing and continue walking. Calmly say, please, could you be more careful? You almost hit me with your bike. Or C, get angry with them and tell them to be more careful. Okay, 5 seconds for your answer. And then let's check on the answer. Oh, so all of you have your own answer and you like noted down your answers? Okay, let's check on this. And can you share with us your answers? Do you have, how many points do you have? Everyone? Wow, you got 21. Oh, congratulations, Teacher Duke. You are well balanced. Oh, 20. Oh, I'm sorry, 20, more than 21. You got 21. It means that you got the score is more than 20, right? Ah, explain why. Yes. You got 20. Wow. Neil, it means that you are well balanced and you're an assertive person. Wow, that's excellent. Yes. How about others? Yes, is there anyone under 20? You know, last time when I did this, I got less than 20. Yeah, I got less than 20. So I think this is a kind of just a kind of reflection. And when we know what style we are, maybe we can help your like student. Like, for example, I'm I'm a shy person and I think that I'm not assertive enough. And I look back and I see that, oh, in order to have a like effective communication skills or to be assertive, to raise your voice, what should you do to help your students? So this is not a full judgment. This is about how you learn from the question from the results, and you know that you what you can you do to improve, or what can you do for your students. Wow. Yes. So these are the 10 tips for being assertive. So can you please share with me how much or how many of these tips that you have been practicing, or you have not been able to do it in your classroom? Because I think that being assertive, it's also a way of like improve the communication skills, or you can help your students to be assertive in like in order to speak for themselves, to help them speak for themselves, or even when they go out, they go to outside, they can go to the society when they go with their like they have other relationships, and they also need to be assertive in to have a effective communication. So everyone, can you share with me, or I would call someone to share? Hang down, can you share with me? What have you done? Or what do you think about this point, assertiveness? Can you share with me? And the teachers here? Thầy Đức, can you please share with me? While other teachers, they're preparing for their answers, or like they... Thầy Đức, can you hear me?
Yes.
Or I'm just talking to myself?
All right. So now I need to pick one, right?
Yes, or you just want to like, how do you think about this point, assertiveness, or how you do this, or how you help your students with like ability of being assertive?
All right. So actually, as I was saying, I'm teaching IELTS. I'm preparing students for the IELTS exam, and for the IELTS speaking skill. People, the test takers have to speak up and have to be able to share their thoughts. And that could be related to number 7, use I to describe what you feel and think. So I often introduce this activity in class for maybe I can show people some pictures, and often pictures that are thought-provoking. All right. And then I ask my students to do a very simple activity, just to say, I feel something about this picture. All right. In order that they practice, injecting emotions about, what they see. And I think that's very simple, but that's a very first step, the stepping stone for students to start speaking, because um, the very first thing that we need to be fluent is our feeling, is how to speak up about our feelings. So that's how I try to do with my students. And about number nine is something I also want to talk about. Set limits and politely tell people when they make you uncomfortable. So actually, sometimes I have to do this, and um, it's interesting that when you do this, it's not just about making the other people uncomfortable, but you also feel that too. But in the end, things start to work out when they understand you more. They know that that's the limit, and they cannot, exceed that limit. That's a very fine line, but you need to stop right there. All right. So maybe sometime being assertive is gonna bring uncomfortable feeling to people, but we need to do that. We need to be a little bit, let's say, straightforward.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm sorry, I forgot to put on the audio. I agree with you. Yes, sometimes we need to set limits because we need to like speak out or speak for ourselves, right? When you feel uncomfortable. So how about the other teachers? How do you use these tips? Or have you ever like practiced or used these tips in your classroom? Like, have you ever used agree to disagree? Or have you ever like used like teach them to listen actively, or know how to, like the teacher Đức just said, set limits and politely tell people when they make you uncomfortable? So teacher Thủy, I would like to hear from you again. Can you please share with us? Are you there?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
still?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your question. So, actually, I did I did these things in my class. But for me, number 2 and number 10 is very difficult to conduct in the classes because in order to stay calm and be patient with the students, I think it needs a lot of practice. Uh,
Yes.
and the practice here is also comes from the core value that maybe coming in inside yourself, and also you want to like communicate and also to um, tell students that these values are important and they want to teach them these core value. So for me, I think that to stay calm and to be patient with stay calm maybe with the student errors, be patient with students and stay calm with the student, maybe with their how can I say their bad behavior or something in class. Maybe they can they use the mobile phone, or maybe they're not very attentive in your class. So you have to stay very calm and to maybe to tell them what what is the right thing to do. And even when they have something that they are not very attentive in the class, maybe you have to ask them first, what is the problem here? To know maybe they have something with their family. They have something that they have a problem with enrolling in another class or something. So
Yes.
it comes from us first. We have to be the I believe in the apprenticeship models. It means that if you want students to do something, you have to do it first. So at least you have to be calm, you have to be patient so that the student can actually listen to you actively. Yeah, so I think that all these steps are interconnected to each other also.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yes, I'm sure that you're great teachers, and like a lot of students would love to like take part in your classroom because you listen, you practice the active listening and be equal, and you listen without judgment, and you try to understand your students. Yeah, I think I also have to learn from you because sometimes, yeah, we have to practice this a lot, because when we are not focusing, maybe we got some like get distracted. So it's sometimes we don't have like a full listen or do the practice the active listening. So maybe, yeah, it went wrong, it would go wrong, right? Thank you. And how about teacher Lê Thị Thu Thủy? I would like to hear from you so that we can end the webinar today. You all know that we are not an experts. We just come here to share ideas. Maybe you learn from other like source of knowledge and you come here to share with us, or like it's like you are practicing these skills or this kind of rules, and you know that it's really effective and you want to share with us, or we can learn from you. So we do want to hear from you. What do you think about assertiveness and how you've been practicing it? Or have you ever used it in your classroom or teach your students? Miss Vũ Thị Nhung, Teacher Vũ Thị Nhung, or Phạm Phương, or Trương Tiểu My, Hạnh Đào, you want to share with us, please? Or Neo Chen, Teacher Neo Chen, can you share with us? Okay, so I believe that that we have come to an end of our presentation today about teaching communication skills. And yes, yeah, that's right. You can leave comments. Oh, yes, I can see here. Phạm Phương Hoa, teacher Phạm Phương Hoa, practice assertive writing. So it means that you teach writing, right? Don't you? Okay. Thầy Đức, can you please get back to the stage and conclude our webinar today? And would like the teachers to leave some like feedback.
All right. So, thank you everyone. So that's the last part of today's sharing. And so assertiveness is something that we actually don't know very clearly about. That's why we have gone through a questionnaire. And actually, the questionnaire is extracted from the resources of the course. So you are actually experiencing what is in the course. And I can see that many of you are at the balancing point. I'm a little bit, on the extreme side. I'm 21, yes. So I can see many people who are more balanced than me, or just like 20 or maybe 19. It's okay, right? Okay, so now let's go. Now, so at the end of today's session, I really want to have some feedbacks from you, because this is a rewarding activity, because I have a chance to see people from all parts of the country, maybe because this is not just like teachers in Hanoi, in Ho Chi Minh City, or anywhere. It can be like from anywhere, right? So I really want to hear feedbacks from you. I have a Padlet here, so you can leave some feedbacks for Mrs. Ha and me. All right. So now I will send the link to the chat box, so that if you want to give some comments for our presentation, then you're welcome. Okay. Thank you. So here's the Padlet where you can create some panels and write some things for us. We really look forward to hearing from you. Okay. And we hope that in near future, Mrs. Hai and me can join some sharing session from other people, and it will be great. Yeah, so this is the first time I do this, but it's very interesting. I can see very positive feedbacks, comments, and interaction from you. Okay, so thanks for everything, and we have great pictures. Okay,
Thank you everyone for coming and sharing.
thank you everyone.
Thank you, teacher Thủy
Một
Ngô.
chút tiếng Việt
Yes,
một
I
chút,
love your
mình
comments. I love your sharings.
mọi người, nếu như mọi người cũng có quan tâm về cái nội dung, cái resource mà mọi người muốn thêm về khóa học, ví dụ như là những cái phần như là listening spectrum, ví dụ mình back lại một số phần cho mọi người, là ví dụ
Thank
assertiveness,
you,
nó
teacher
có
Phạm
rất là
Phương Hoa.
nhiều những activity hay. Actually là nó
Yes.
cũng không phải cái gì cũng dễ áp dụng, cho nên mình cũng có nói là mình cũng phải hơi selectively một chút cùng chị Hà, để chọn ra những cái thứ mà có tính ứng dụng. Và mọi người cũng có thể thấy là chị Hà và mình cũng đưa rất là nhiều context là classroom vào, để có thể là thông qua đó nói cho mọi người được những cái ý mà mình cảm thấy là đắt nhất trong khóa học. Nhưng mà đấy, có những cái mà ví dụ như là những activity hơn nữa, hay là những cái phần như kiểu mình có nói là cái phần này mình rất là thích này, listening spectrum. Đó, thì đây là một cái phần mà mình cũng take note rất là kỹ, cũng hết vài trang sổ. Đó, thì cũng learn được rất là nhiều fact các thứ qua đây. Và nếu như mọi người muốn discuss sâu hơn thì chúng ta cũng có thể là maybe nhắn tin riêng để có thể kết nối kết bạn với nhau, để những cái lần sau đó thì có thể không chỉ là cái nội dung sharing này, chúng ta có thể là có một cái network thêm nữa. Đúng không
Cảm
nhỉ?
ơn thầy Đức,
Đó thì mình cũng rất
đúng
là
rồi,
open với việc là kết nối thêm với các thầy cô. Đó, mình rất là thích là được biết thêm nhiều thầy cô hơn nữa. Thì trong này thực ra là cũng có thầy Thủy, thầy Thủy Ngô thì thầy cũng đang là giảng viên ở Hanu. Đó, mình cũng có cơ hội rất là vui lại được làm việc với thầy, cũng đợt trước làm việc rất là sâu, đợt này thì thầy làm cố vấn chuyên môn cho cả công ty mình. Đó thì
Ừ.
nãy giờ thì thầy cũng đã có rất là nhiều ý kiến rất là hay, thì lần sau mình nghĩ là rất là hy vọng được nghe nhiều ý kiến của mọi người hơn nữa. Ok, nếu mọi người có thêm có mong muốn gì thêm về resource nhá, mọi người cứ nhắn chị Hà và mình, bọn mình sẽ cung cấp thêm cho mọi người, và chúng ta sẽ rất là vui nếu như mà chúng ta có thể là quen biết và có thể là trở thành friend ở một cái social network nào đó. Thank you everyone. Cảm ơn mọi người đã tham gia buổi ngày hôm nay
Cảm
nhé.
ơn các thầy cô, cảm ơn thầy cô rất nhiều.
Cảm ơn các thầy cô
Thank
rất
you,
nhiều.
teacher.
Bọn mình cũng xin phép là sẽ dừng buổi sharing ngày hôm nay tại đây ạ. Cảm ơn mọi người nhé.
Thank you, teacher.